Shabbat Shalom. This week we begin the book of Leviticus from the Torah. In this very first opening portion of Vayikra or Leviticus, we are introduced to the various options of how our ancestors brought sacrifices into the tabernacle, the Mishkan, the portable temple in their wandering for God. The portion opens saying, when a person presents an offering of animals to the Lord, he shall choose his offering from the herd, namely cattle, or from the flock, meaning goats and lambs. The people could bring this sacrifice according to their financial abilities. If wealthy, they could bring a whole cow or even an ox. The middle class would bring a goat or a ram. The lower income families could bring a lamb or even a mere bird, a dove. And those with the least resources could bring the same offering, but using flour. The only difference in the text between the instructions for the offering of the richer and the poorer person was how the Torah referred to the individual presenting the sacrifice. When a person presents an offering of animals to the Lord, this person is called an Adam, a man, a person. But when someone presents the meal offering of flour, this poor individual, the Torah calls that person a nephesh, when a soul presents a meal offering to the Lord. So again, the wealthy and affluent, they provide their sacrifices. They're called Adam, a person. However, when the destitute person, the person of little or no means, makes their simple sacrifice, that person is referred to as a nephesh, according to the Torah, a soul. Our great commentators share that this title, soul or nephesh, is indeed a much holier moniker to be known by. When a wealthy person offers a whole cow in the tabernacle, he still gets to go home for dinner and enjoy lamb or goat. When the middle class person sacrifices a lamb, that person goes home and still has fowl for dinner. The lower income person comes home after offering his bird, his dove in the tabernacle, but still comes home to bread on the table. However, when the poorest person sacrifices his meal offering, his flour, in the sanctuary, he may not have a meal at all waiting for him upon his return, for that is all he has. That sacrifice, our sages tell us, is the holiest. It comes from a person's very soul. There's a beautiful story our rabbis tell of an elderly couple, Abraham and Sarah, who used to make Shabbat every Friday night and Saturday. And particularly this one winter day, Sarah trudged her way to the center of town to purchase a challah with the last coin she had. Along her travels, she ran into a beggar, someone who had very little means, someone who had even less than Abraham and Sarah. And she gave him her last remaining coin so that the beggar could find food for Shabbat. She returned home embarrassed that when she was going to make Shabbat dinner that evening, there would be no challah. She set the table as usual, put out the candlesticks, the wine, and in place of the 2 loaves of challah, she put 2 stones on a platter and covered it with her cloth. That evening, her husband returned home from shul with an elderly visitor who had no place to enjoy Shabbat. Sarah, feeling embarrassed and sad, didn't have the heart to explain and tell them that there was no challah, there was no bread. She lit the candles, Abraham made the kiddush, and just before the challah cover was taken off, the stranger, the old man, said to the couple, "Please allow me." The old man removed the challah cover, and much to Sarah's surprise, there were 2 loaves of challah. Sarah couldn't believe what she was seeing. She was in shock, and the old man smiled at her and revealed himself to Abraham and Sarah as Elijah the prophet. At that moment, Elijah spoke to the couple and said, for your kindness, for your compassion, for your generosity, for those in need. Tonight, you enjoy the bread for being such good souls. Friends, the story is a reminder to us that it's not a person's wealth that should impress us. Rather, it's a person's spirituality and compassion, their generosity, their willingness to give to others. That's what makes someone a true soul. As our Torah portion explains, the one that brings the meal offering is a nephesh, has that true neshama. As we come soon to the holiday of Passover, in the Passover Haggadah, we too are challenged to open our hearts, open our pocketbooks and our homes to the needy and isolated. Let us make sure that although because of the pandemic, we may once again be alone for the Seders, that doesn't mean we have to be lonely. For even through our sacrifice, we truly will be elevated to not just being an Adam, a person this year. We will assuredly be in God's eyes, holy souls, nefashot. Amen. Shabbat shalom.